Patreon going strong. If you want to go over there and join in on the fun, we got 3 tiers on Canadian dollars. First tier is $3 a month, where you get these episodes ad free. You also get AMAs once a month, or learn about me episodes once a month. And then on the second tier, which is $5 a month, you get everything from the first tier, as well as coverage of a reality show of yesteryear. That's right now Jersey Shore, currently in season 3. You can also go to the main feed, where there will be the first episode of every season released there, so you can try that before you head over to the Patreon. And then on the third tier, you get everything from the first 2 tiers, as well as coverage from a true crime documentary. We got the backlog of Ashley Madison documentary, Man with 1,000 Kids, Into the Fire, Lacey Peterson, and again, all those episodes for the first episode of each is in the main feed, so you can try that before you head over. So if you are interested, you can head over to patreon.com/realityt times 2, and you can sign up for whichever tier you feel for. Again, you can try before you buy, which basically means you can try any tier for a week before committing to it. Even if you are on another tier, if you are on tier 1 or the first tier and you want to go over to the second tier, you could still try that second tier for a week before committing to the upgrade. So again, that is at patreon.com/realityt times 2. And of course, the link is in the show notes, website, social media accounts. It's all available there. This episode is ad-free on the Patreon. So if you want to partake in that, you can head on over to patreon.com/realityt times 2. Welcome to Reality Tea Times 2, the podcast where we discuss all the trash reality TV we love to hate. I'm Tanika, and today we're going to be discussing Suddenly Amish, second episode. So let's just jump right in to the episode. So if you remember where we left off in the last episode, we were talking about Esme and getting rid of her nails and her lashes. So that's where we start off. But before we do start off with that, we have a Bible verse, y'all. Let's get to it. And it says this: "And now also that is laid onto the root of the trees. Therefore, every tree which..." Did I say Bridget? That's not the right word. Autocorrect. Anyways, bringeth, I think, not good fruit, is hewn down and cast into the fire. Matthew chapter 3, verse 10. Esme says that the Amish are not as accepting as she thought they would be. Man, how accepting did you think that the Amish was going to be about your nails and lashes, when vanity is literally a no? You know what I mean? But Esme says maybe we can, or no, not Esme, Emma says maybe we can compromise. Take the nails off and maybe do some clear polish, let them grow out. But James is like, you have had a lot of time to come to terms with these changes. Shaboom. I mean, let me get this straight. Let me say this out loud. I hate James, but I did have to agree with him on that. Alan is like, all right, you know what? What about we give you 7 days to kind of come to terms with things, and then we'll do this. And she's like, okay, I can do that. And he's like, okay, great. We're going to hold you to it. We're going to hold you to the 7 days. But James is upset because he says, like, why aren't we being more strict with her? Why are we letting her get away with it? Because she just got here, sir. Calm all the way down. Anyways, back at Ellen's house, we are going through the bags. Start with Kendra. You won't like the clothes she has in there, apparently. I guess you can't wear shorts? What about the crop tops? No? No, okay, all right. So nothing is okay. She can't wear anything. Um, so we'll figure it out. We move on to Billy Joe. She's like, so I have an Amish dresses, capes, and aprons, and my bras, and I mean, everything is good. Oh, wait. What's that? What's that pink thing? That's a vibrator, y'all. My girl packed a vibrator to the Amish community. Are you dumb? I coulda even if you weren't sure, mind you though, she's been like interested in this community for 20 years, so you think you would know. But yeah, like you literally cannot come in here with a vibrator. That's 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 a no. And of course, it had to be the quote unquote Amish girl who came in with the vibrator. So Alan is like, self pleasure is frowned upon because you shouldn't be pleasing yourself. You should be pleasing your husband. And then in turn, he should be doing the same, but probably isn't, but that's okay. Not okay. What if you don't got one of those? She asked. Like, we don't got one, man? Well, you're shit out of luck. You can't please yourself and you can't please him. Oh well. So we go around the table, and Alan at this time opens up about adopting for kids and how one of them passed away. So they have a very heartfelt moment. We'll get a little bit more information on that because we're gonna take a break from it for a second. He asks, so is anyone married? Anyone been married? Obviously, most of them here say no except for Matt. In case you needed the reminder, he does have twin boys, and that was as a result of a marriage that he was in. So Alan basically said, well, God would have put you together. It's so that you stay together. But he's going to talk to Vernon and James about the situation, see what they're going to do. So are you allowed to show emotions here? He's like, of course you have to show emotions. Alan says that if we couldn't, like, I don't know where I would have been 8 months ago. Because apparently, y'all, that's when they lost their son was 8 months ago. So, and that was very an emotional story that not so much story, but opening up about his son was very difficult. And there's tears, and yeah, I feel for them. It's horrible. So y'all gonna get up at 3:30, 4 o'clock? Sound right? Okay. What? Don't talk to me at 3:30 in the morning. I will punch you. So we have a definition, y'all. The definition is nashbar, meaning neighbor, or brother, or one who lives nearby, joined by mutual duty, trust, and the bonds of faith within the Amish community. It's 6:40 in the morning. Did I say 6:40? It's 6:40, p.m. at James and Emma's. We see Aaron sneaking around with a second phone, y'all, that he plans on using for his hearing aid. More on that later. It's the middle of the night. Everyone is dying from the heat. It's actually 85 degrees. Sweet hell is this? No one can sleep. We need the AC. We don't got one of those, though. Then everyone is getting up. It's around 3:40, 4 o'clock. It's time to get to work. Aaron maybe got 3 hours of sleep. Judah is like, you wouldn't give me a day, to get used to things. You're gonna wake me up at 3:30 in the morning. Esme is like, there were flies everywhere. They barely slept. Typical days for the Amish. So for the men, they work in the fields. The women, they keep house, because duh. James, Aaron, and Judah are heading to the barn. Judah's like, first of all, he says it smells like shit. Well, sir, yeah, it's gonna smell like shit. But Judah is like, no, 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 no. That's a goddamn chicken. Y'all, he don't like chickens. He actually has a bird phobia. My guy is having a somewhat meltdown over the chicken. Chickens are beautiful. Chickens are so soft. Anyway, in the second grade, he tells us he went to the zoo. All he remembers is that an ostrich tried to bite his face off, basically. Like Kevin Hart. He also doesn't like ostriches. Anyways, um, He's had the fear ever since. He is scared of feeding the horse, though, as well, so that has nothing to do with your bird phobia. Aaron's like, well, he's a germaphobe. But if you're a germaphobe, like, this isn't the life for you. He's scared of the cows. Then we got a rogue chicken, ready to attack Judah. He just flies out of wherever the hell he came from. It's like, like he's just coming at him. And he's like, why is the chicken not in the coop? Because the chicken flew the coop. Oh, God. He's like, I was chased by an ostrich, y'all. Let the chicken live, though, okay? The chicken wants to have some fun. And James was like, not to point out the obvious, but that is not an ostrich. It's too small to be an ostrich. Um, come pet the baby chicken. Yeah, little chickies. They're so cute. All I hear is little chicky sounds. It's so cute. Okay. He's like, it's so soft. Yes, because it's fine. They're baby chickens. That's so cute. Okay. James says, I don't think he's gonna last here because there are animals here and you need to deal with those animals. Anyway, so we are gardening with Alan and Sarah. That's his wife, by the way. Normally, they can get enough to can it, like the vegetables, um, and use it over the winter. So we're going to be hoeing in the garden. Now we make hoe jokes because we are children. And Billy Joe is like, I am more like a supervisor. I don't do this shit. Alan, the producers ask, do you know what a hoe is? He's like, well, I think that the hoe they are referring to is more like a prostitute type of, thing. Meanwhile, Kendra and Matt are just flirting away. And Billy Joe is like, y'all need to hoe faster. Yeah, in and out, in and out. Was that too far? You knew what you did. You knew what you did. It is what it is. So James is like, I'm hearing things. I'm hearing sounds in my house. Is that a phone? So he starts searching the room, the boys' room, searching the rooms, and he finds Aaron's extra phone. Sir, I have a question. You know you have a contraband cell phone in order to make your hearing aid work. Why is your phone on vibrate, you dummy? Like, put your phone on silent. Anyway, he goes outside, James does, and says, hey, Aaron, you want to come on over here? Found your phone. You and your worldly devices. Motherfucker, you have a cell phone. I want for the English people to find out that James was shunned because he had quote unquote worldly possessions. You know what I mean? Ooh, they're gonna come for him. Okay, so yeah, he says using worldly devices. Quite an addiction, he says. You need to shut up. Um, welcome to the Amish, he says. So the phone got turned off, which now means his hearing aid is not working. It's kaput. He says, I have to work 10 times harder to hear what people are saying. It's like I run a marathon. And he gets overstimulated. So the whole situation is not a good one. We are now at Amish stuff, etc. But there is not a lot of Amish type stuff here, so I guess it's more of the etc. that's here today. And Judah keeps looking towards the non-Amish stuff, but he can't get anything that he wants. James wants me to be basic, but I'm not basic. Sir, you are basic while you're in the Amish community. You are the definition of basic in the Amish community. You don't come to the Amish community to be not be basic, to be unbasic. Is that the right? Whatever. You came here to be basic. Okay. But Judah is getting frustrated because everything he brings up to James to see if it's okay, he gets told, no, it's not working. He says, if you want something, it should be understood the why you want it. What? Not in any community is that the way to go about things. Because you want something doesn't mean you can get it. Anyway, but Alan says, I would be okay with the shoes, but I mean, you're under James's roof, so I mean, he has to okay it, you know what I mean? And James is like, Alan comes from a liberal church. You mean the liberal church of which you are a part of? Like, I'm confused. He's like, I didn't come from a liberal church, but you were also shunned from your non like liberal church. So, you know what I mean? But James says, fine, you can get the shoes. He's not a part of the Amish yet, so he can use them for now. Hi, everyone. So, I have a new product for you to take part in. This is for J Armor wallets. Now, you can get these wallets for a pretty good price. Partially, it seems at this point, partially American made, but they're going to be planning to be completely American made by the year 2027. The fun part is that you can actually see what new wallet styles are going to be coming in 2026. So a little bit about the company. The company was founded by Jake Hernandez, who is also a part of the U.S. Air Force veteran, or he is a U.S. Air Force veteran. So with his business, he is also supporting charities like anti-child labor organizations, veteran support programs, and efforts to rebuild American manufacturing. So this is clearly something that is very important to him, and honestly, really important to me as well. And for going to the link in the show notes, which I will say what that link is in a minute, but going to the link in the show notes not only helps support this podcast, but is also helping to support J Armor as well as helping support the charities that he finds near and dear to him. So if you go to the show notes and you find that link, the link is jarmorwallets.com/reality times 2. So that is j-armorwallets.com/reality-timestwo. So I hope you go on and support not only me, but as well as this company. Now, that's enough of me. Let's go back to the episode. Next, we see them, axing logs for, fireplaces and whatnot, because, so that is something that clearly will need to be done. Everyone is doing it. Like Aaron does it, James does it. I think Alan's there, so Alan does it. But when Judah does it, he isn't really able to do it. He's like, I come from the city, because I come from the city, I've never chopped wood. I lay it, but that's it. That was funny. That was funny. But he feels like he's not useful. He struggled with the barn. He is not struggling here. And he's like, I've kind of, felt like he's not a man. He's been struggling with this notion his whole life. And he talks about in the Black community, they may want you to be one way, but you have been, the way you are your whole life. So you're kind of thinking, it's like, what exactly is he getting at? Because yes, I hear him for sure, but what exactly is he getting at? And I've already been suspicious that he was queer of some sense, and that was the secret that he had, which obviously, yes, in the Black community, um, men especially feel like they have to be on the DL, and they have being with another man that it's viewed as not being a man, and it's toxic masculinity, obviously, but when that's all it's hard to change that. But in this moment, he does come out and say, I'm going to be authentically me, and he says that I am bisexual. So you think that in this moment he's gonna tell everyone that he is bisexual. So he says, like, "Can we talk? You know, I'm struggling. Y'all can do these things, but I can't even chop some wood. Other men, you know, I think he said are like me or are like me." He says that men, I think he's telling us this, that men to come out in any way doesn't happen in the Black community, which I just mentioned. He says, "I don't know how to be a man. My dad wasn't around. I was raised around women, so maybe I picked up on female tendencies." I think the fact that he's kind of talking like that, and I think like that is very true to how he feels. He needs a therapist, y'all. He really does. Because just because you are raised around women or predominantly women doesn't automatically make you gay or whatever you would identify with wanting to be with men. Just like women, being predominantly around women wouldn't necessarily make them a lesbian. You know what I mean? So it's that way of thinking that isn't healthy. And he really needs to work through that. Like, I actually wonder if his family even know that he is bisexual. I don't know if they even know. I would love to know if they do. But, um, so he says, "I don't know how to be a man. My dad wasn't," I think I said that already. Yeah. He says, what did I do that my dad didn't want to be or didn't want me?" And then again, that breaks your heart. Another thing that he needs to talk to a therapist with. Um, but Alan and James kind of in unison here, which I think this is one of the nicest things James has said so far, is that's not on you. That's between your father and your mother. The fact that he wasn't there, the fact that he left, the fact that, that's you did nothing for him to do. That's all on him. That's all on him. And that's the abandonment, right? So he really needs to work through that and come to terms with the fact that, yeah, this had nothing to do with me. I have no control over my father's actions, but what I do have control over is how I react to it moving forward and how I deal with it moving forward and what I will do differently with potentially his own children when that happens. Um, Alan says, which this man is so sweet and we don't deserve him. I'm telling you right now, we do not deserve this man because he says, "You don't have to, but you can think of me as your father who made this man." Like, really, truly, who made this man. Oh my God, he is the sweetest man. I love him so much. But he says that he is not ready to tell them that he is bisexual. And you know what? That might be for a good idea for now, because we'll get to why. Now it's party time, y'all. It's party time. James says, "I fear that Alan is going to be too nice because he comes from a liberal church. So it's up to me to be strict. Sir, shut the fuck up." Because here's the thing. You say that Alan comes from a liberal church. First of all, don't talk about my Alan that way. Secondly, he's a part of that community of said liberal church. The community that you are currently a part of because you were shunned from your community. Did I say thirdly, fourthly, whichever number we're on right now. You, sir, want to talk about being strict and all of this shit? Who has the hidden box of alcohol in his cell phone? Please. Please. Then they play that game like roll call. My name is, but yeah. So while they're doing that, Judah just kind of blurts out, "My name is Judah, and I'm bi." Oh, oh. And um, Kendra is just like, uh, oh, oh. Like, we literally stopped the beat. And she was like, "Don't stop the beat. I'm in shock right now. I'm just trying to process what you said just out there." Because he's only saying it to his English folks so that they're gonna understand him. He's not ready to say to the Amish people, even though they're like literally 2 steps away from him, but that's okay. Billy and Joe is like, did we did we all hear what he just said? Did we hear that? Judah then kind of says, I don't even think they understand what buy is. I think they just think it means buying something at the store. Sir, they are not that dumb. They are not that dumb. They know what bisexual is. They do. Anyway, he says, I felt comfortable telling my English people. Obviously, he doesn't feel comfortable telling the Amish yet. Then James goes over to Alan and he's like, so, anything interesting? Everyone is good? Good, good. Anyone married? Why did he think to ask that question? Producers, did you feed him that line? Really and truly? Because why would he think to ask that question? But anyways, anyone married? He's like, no one's married, but we do have one divorcee. Matt actually is the one that's divorced. And James is like, well, I thought, maybe they would do some more research as to what is acceptable in the Amish community. Sir, that is very true. You would think that they would do some research. This group of people didn't do diddly shit. One person thinks it's okay to have fake nails and eyelashes. Another one thought it was okay to come onto the land, wearing that dress that you decided to wear. You have another one coming in here with the boots, and let's be very real here. He's not going to be accepted when they find out that he is bisexual. You have another one coming in here with Bluetooth hearing aids, which, yes, it's a medical device, but it still has to be powered by your phone. You know what I mean? Really. And then the other one came in as a fake Amish, but then still came in with a freaking vibrator. Make it make sense. None of these people did research. Nobody. Um, so he says like he can't get remarried since he was divorced. It would be, shame on your family or something, some shit like that. Shame on your cow, Anyways, um, he says I'm not going to let him ruin me getting back into the good graces of the community. So it's all about you, huh? Sir, another thing that I want to point out here, you're the one that's shunned for a cell phone and alcohol drinking. So, which you still have possession of. My guy, you're the one that's going to ruin your chances for getting back into the community, not Matt. So, he goes to Matt and he says, so I hear you're divorced. I don't think you're going to like this, but I think you gotta leave. You lied to us. How did I lie? He asks, which is fair enough. By not telling us. And he says, who would I have told? I can't call you people because you don't have a fucking phone. Actually, James does, but he doesn't know that. And none of these people do. Um, he's like, I can't make my divorce go away. It is what it is. He's like, well, you came without your wife, ex-wife, actually, because she's remarried with her own family. They've been divorced for what? Like, I know his boys are 7. Don't know how long they were together after, the birth of their kids, but it's been a minute. Well, nice meeting you. Probably won't meet again because I'm going to be escorting you off the property. Y'all, this man, this crazy ass man, escorts Matt off the property with a goddamn axe in his hand. As Judah says, like this is Chainsaw fucking Massacre. What the hell is wrong with you? My guy. What the hell? It's so weird. It was such a power trip. But my question all along in this is, can we have Vernon on the phone, please? Oh wait, on the pigeon. Wait, whatever you guys use to talk to each other. Can we please get Alan on the line? There we go. Can we please have him on the line because he is the bishop here. He's the one that brought these people in here. Maybe we can talk to him first before we just jump to conclusions. This James idiot isn't one who should be making decisions about who stays and who goes. As much as I love Alan, and he's the brother of the bishop, I don't even think he should be making decisions about this either. It should be Vernon. You take your shit to Vernon. Where is Vernon? We haven't seen him. Bring the shit to Vernon, and then Vernon can be the one who makes that decision. Not these idiots. You know what I mean? Not that my sweet Alan is an idiot, because he's not. Judah's like, so if that's how they respond about divorce, I'm keeping my little secret. I ain't saying shit. Sounds about right. Matt is crying at this point. It's really sad. And while he's crying about being kicked off of the property, someone asks, "You want any popcorn, James? What is this? Dinner and a movie? What is going on?" He's like, "Yeah, sure." Um, he's like, "So we, by the way, asked Matt to leave because he withheld that he was divorced. We? Who the fuck is we? We isn't a part of this. You made a decision. That's what you did. We. The hell?" Esme is like, "So there's no forgiveness when you're supposed to?" No. Y'all, you really didn't Google, did you? It doesn't take much for the community to shun somebody. Forgiveness. Forgiveness. What is forgiveness? He says, well, the church might accept him, but no remarriage, unless he was widowed, which that bitch ain't dead, so he can't be here. Judah's like, my guy just ran him off like this. It's the Chainsaw Massacre. James is crazy. That's exactly what happened. He does give me like, what's his face? Leatherface. Really. Can I say, this is maybe a really bad opinion, but I'm going to own it because I don't give a shit. And I did talk about it in one of my Netflix episodes over my other podcast. I watched the original Chainsaw Massacre. I hated it. It was, that's an hour and a half I will never get back. It really, really is. Anyways, sorry if you don't like that opinion, but it is what it is. But yeah, that's basically the episode, y'all. That's the first 2 episodes of Suddenly Amish. What's to come next? So B90, getting back on that. Gonna catch up with that one. So that's what you're gonna be kind of getting next. We'll kind of mix it in with some other stuff. You're not just getting that, but that is what's to come. Um, yeah, that's basically it, y'all. That is it for this episode. If you liked what you heard, bear with me because I have not done an outro for the podcast in quite some time. So bear with me here. So if you liked what you heard, you can go to any of your favorite podcast apps. You can like, follow, make sure you don't miss a single episode. And you can also rate the podcast at either Apple Podcasts or Spotify. It'd be greatly appreciated. As a reminder, any 5-star ratings that are given to the podcast or any comments that are given to the podcast will be read on the podcast, which I have done in the past. If you want to connect with the podcast through social media, you can find me at Facebook and Instagram at Reality T times 2. You can also find me at Twitter, TikTok, and Blue Sky at Reality times 2 pod. I believe you can email me at realityt times 2 at hotmail.com, and you can have any inquiries, anything like that, any ideas, any shows or episodes you want me to cover, you can definitely do that over there. And I am going back to our old website, and that is at solo.to/realityt times 2. There you can get any of the links to anything that I didn't mention here, any of the socials, website, email, all of that. It's all there for you. And we also have a new thing there where you can help support the podcast as well. It's called a tip jar. And you could tip whatever your heart's desire if you want to support the podcast, but don't want to necessarily support the podcast in going to Patreon, for example, or any of the links in any of the advertisements. You can do it there. But since we're on the topic of Patreon, you can head on over to patreon.com/reality tea times two, where there you can get access to even more than what I do here. There are 3 different tiers where you can get these shows ad free, as well as our next tier up where you would get um, another reality show that's being covered. So, we have Jersey Shore that's been getting covered. That's still being covered currently at the time of recording of this outro, but the future is bright with what's to come in the future, which I will be discussing, or I have discussed. I don't even know. And then also our next tier is a true crime tier as well. So you can definitely head over for that. But that is basically it. I will also just quickly mention here too, if you're interested in a different take of a podcast that I'm a part of, where we do things a little differently, you can head on over to Next Take Podcast, where I usually drop bonus episodes here on this feed, but there you get a lot more. And that podcast is making changes. We're growing, doing new things, but you can definitely head on over there if you want to just hear a little bit different than what I do over here. So you can find that podcast over at our website, solo.to/next take podcast. And there we'll have all the links to your desire that will link you to any of your favorite podcast apps or YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all of it. Social medias, it's all over there. But of course, you can still find that podcast at any of your favorite podcast apps. But that is it for this episode. We'll see you next time with another episode. Bye, everybody.